Okay, good evening, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the week 8 of our class titled The Importance of Communication in Project Management. So this is actually the second time I'm recording this video because the first, I forgot to turn on the audio. So I recorded a video without an audio, so I have to record it again. Now, shall be going quickly into it. So communication, we all know what communication is. The ability to give information between one or two people or multiple people at a given period of time using probably English, sign language, equations, whatever, however you want to have it done. You just shall have to communicate. Now, we say effective communication is a cornerstone of successful project management. Projects often involve diverse teams, tight timelines, complex objectives, and multiple stakeholders, all of which requires clear, consistent, and transparent communication to ensure alignment and minimize misunderstanding. Communication is not just the transmission of information, but the mutual understanding of the information to facilitate decision-making, risk management, task coordination, and team motivation. Now, what are the importance of communication in project management? What exactly are the importance of communication in our everyday life? So, number one, it is the foundation for collaboration and teamwork. Now, I wrote here that communication facilitates collaboration among team members, departments, and external stakeholders. It ensures that everyone understands the project objectives, their role, and how their contribution affects other success. In multidisciplinary team, effective communication bridges gap in language, experience, and cultural understanding. So I like to always use example of construction firm. Now, say you run a construction firm, which most likely comprises of the architectural department, the procurement and purchase department, the civil engineering, the electrical, the mechanical, all the different plenty engineering, polymer, and the likes. Now, you have to communicate ideas between probably a client brings a project to the firm. Now, when a client brings a project to the firm, the first thing you do is the architects draw the plan for approval by the client. Now, after that, the architects have it given to the structural engineer who checks the possibility of the structures of what the architect have drawn. Now, you have to be able to communicate effectively within these various departments because, like it or not, you guys are working towards to achieve a uniform goal, one desired goal. That's erecting that client structure. So if you are unable to communicate your ideas, your vision, and what you want done on the structure, it will make the project difficult to execute and probably increase the timeline in doing the project. Now, we have clarity in goals and objectives. Now, miscommunication or a lack of communication can lead to unclear expectations, missed deadline, and scope creep, which we've talked about earlier. Now, communication ensures that the project scope, timelines, resource, and deliverables are clearly defined and agreed upon from the onset. Yes. Now, communication eliminates the problem of yes or assumption, in the sense that when two people working on the project assume that, this person is supposed to have this done, even if it is supposed to be this person's job. But when you communicate it clearly, it gives the person it makes the person understand that, yes, nobody is doing this for me. So that the issue of, I thought it was not supposed to be me, or I thought it was supposed to be you doing it, is eliminated in the future. So it sets clarity to goals and objectives in a project. Then we also have risk management. Now, regular communication helps in identifying, assessing, and managing project risks early. Now, team members are more likely to report issues when communication is open and encouraged, enabling proactive management of the potential problem. Now, I'll use a very basic example. So at one point of our lives, I would assume we've all have been in an educational system before. Now, this is what it simply means. Say when your math teacher was teaching you, what topic would I use now? Quadratic equation. start from the basic. Or okay, what can I use again? Normal, okay, let's say normal, it was teaching you 1 plus 1. Let's start from multiplication table addition. Teach you 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4. Now, if you miss it at that point, if he start teaching you 10 plus 13 and you start doing the addition, you get it wrong. So if he has an open policy which encourages communication to convey your problems, your difficulty, or any challenge you have, it will be easy for you to make a complaint from the onset that, oh sir, I don't understand what you taught me today. But if the environment is not communication conducive, it will elongate your problem, taking it into the next stage. Probably you start doing division, that is doing subtraction. And if you don't get to this thing from the basics, it will compromise when you get to the future. So it's just simple as it's it helps in managing risks from the onset, because it's easy to curtail, to teach you earlier than when you've grown to the highest level. Now, more advantages we have, more important, we have, it enhances stakeholder satisfaction, yes. And stakeholders are most likely to be satisfied when they are regularly informed about progress, issue, and changes. Now, transparent communication builds trust and ensures stakeholders feel involved, valued, and reducing the chance of dissatisfaction or conflict later. Now, another basic example I can give you for this is this. Say you contract your tailor to do to sew a cloth for you, and you instructed him to use a particular fabric. Now, you both agreed on a price to deliver that. Now, all of a sudden, your tailor comes, and at the delivery day, he brings the fabric, he brings the cloth and tell you, oh, he could not use that fabric because it was so expensive, blah, 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 after you guys have already agreed. Now, say he had communicated it to you earlier. That, oh, sir, I got to the market, there was a change in price. It will even enhance the relationship you guys have, because, oh, you would understand that, oh, he's sincere enough to admit this. He did not just do what he likes. Or say he told you, oh, sir, I would have it delivered to you latest Friday. And on Friday, you waited, and on Friday, you did not get it. On Saturday, you still don't get it. Then he just brings it on Sunday. Regardless of what excuse he gives you, you would be so pissed. But say he messages you on Wednesday, on Thursday, and say, oh, sir, I'm running a little late. Probably I have a family emergency, my machine broke down, or probably a decent excuse. You would be more relaxed if on Friday you did not get the clothes. So it's just a basic day-to-day application. It's enhanced stakeholder satisfaction. What else again? We say it facilitates change management, yes. Now, projects often undergo changes due to shifting business priorities or external influences. Communication is a key to managing these changes effectively. It helps in conveying the rationale for changes, the implication, and in obtaining buy-in from all affected parties. So this is just like I won't say, it facilitates change management. So when you and probably your tailor calls you and say, oh, sir, the fabric we agreed to use, it's no longer 1,000 naira, it costs 1,200 naira. 200 naira, sorry. So you guys will have a conversation. Should I still proceed to get the fabric, probably balance me, or no, we have to substitute and use a fabric which we can get for the price I'm willing to pay. So it helps in facilitating change management, making it happen smooth and effective without conflict, where the both parties get what they want or make a compromise and get something that suits both of them, where no one lose and no one excessively gain. Now, it supports its decision making. Now, timely and accurate communication provides the information required for informed decision making, whether it's about allocating resource, approving a budget, modifying project scope. Communication ensures decisions are based on correct and complete information. Okay, using the same tailor example, say the decision making in the sense that the tailor comes and say, oh, sir, the material we budgeted 1,000 naira, I got to the market, it's 1,200 naira. So it helps both of you to be decisive on what to do. Should you change your fabric you are using? That now depends, modify the project scope. Should you reallocate resource? So are you adding more money to him to get the preferred fabric because you're insistent on that? Or are you approving a budget? Oh no, just go with the 1,000 I've given you. Look for a fabric that factors into the price of the money I gave you. So that's what it does. It helps in decision making. Then we also have, it promotes accountability.
Now, when roles, responsibility, deadlines, and outcomes are clearly communicated, team members are most likely to stay accountable. Communication creates a record of commitment and provide a mechanism for tracking progress and holding people together. So it's just basic as we've said it. It helps both you and your client and the stakeholders involved be accountable to each other. Oh, sir, this is what is happening. I'm letting you know that, oh, we hit the bumps in the road, or no, we are progressing as we said we would. So it promotes accountability between the parties involved. Now, developing communication plan and stakeholders engagement strategy. This is where we've been coming to. A communication plan is a structured approach to defining how information will be shared among project stakeholders. Stakeholders engagement strategies ensures that communication is targeted and tailored to the need of each stakeholders group. Now, what is this communication plan we are talking about? Now, a communication plan is simply outlines. It's a document that comprises of one, what information needs to be communicated. One, two, who are you communicating the information to? Who needs the information? Three, when and how often should it be communicated as? When should I give this particular person this particular information? Who needs to get the information? When should I give the person? How often should I let the person know about it? Then four, the method of communication. Five, who is responsible for communication? Now, a well-defined communication plan ensures consistency and reduces confusion, especially in large or complex projects. Now we move forward. Steps to develop a communication plan. Now, what are the basic steps in developing communication plan? We have number one, you identify the stakeholders. You use the stakeholder analysis. We've talked about this before. To identify. Oh, sorry, I should check something. SWOT analysis. Sorry. Okay. We use the stakeholders analysis to identify all internal and external. Sorry, minutes. Sorry, a minute, please. Uh-huh. So sorry. So I am could include identify stakeholders. Yes, that's where I was. Sorry. So you see, use stakeholders analysis to identify identify. Okay. Use stakeholders analysis to identify all internal and external stakeholders. Stakeholders could include, yes, we've talked about this earlier, the project sponsors, the clients, and the end users, team members, vendors, regulatory authorities, etc. Number two, we have defined stakeholders communication need. Not all stakeholders need the same level of detail. For instance, one, senior executive may require higher level summaries. Yes, people at the top may require the most critical information. Okay, this is what it's taking to do this. This is the cost. This is what it implies. Now, the project team members just need probably the detailed technical updates. Let's say, okay, we are using construction again. Back to it. The civil engineer just needs to know, okay, to know what exactly you are doing in the structure. The architect just needs to know the design. The mechanical engineer knows to know how the mechanical work of the house will work. But they don't really need to know what exactly probably the house will be used for anything. It is not in their scope of work to do. I say the client may want to track milestone and budget. Now, tailoring communication to stakeholders needs improved engagement and efficiency. Now, number three, we have choose communication method. Choose appropriate communication channels for different stakeholders. We have email for formal updates, instant messaging for quick question, meetings for discussion and problem solving, dashboard for real-time project tracking, reports for documentation and review. Then we have the number four, you establish frequency and timing, define how often updates will be sent, how often we have daily stand-ups, the weekly progress meeting, the monthly stakeholders report, the ad hoc updates for urgent issues. Now, consistency is key to building trust and maintaining momentum. Yes, so it does not be that anytime you message your stakeholder, he feels, oh, this one is coming to ask for more funding or more money. No, you should always establish communication because it helps in building track record. for future and probably long-term projects. Then steps to develop communication plan. Number 6, we have assign responsibilities. Now specify who is responsible for generating, delivering, and following up on communication. For example, a project manager may draft reports while a team lead may communicate updates to their departments. Yes, responsibilities and people responsible should be assigned and held up to expectation. Then we have the use tools and templates, standardizing communication through templates, e.g., status reports, risk logs, issue trackers, ensuring clarity and consistency. Now, stakeholders engagement strategies. Stakeholders engagement goes beyond just informing people. It involves managing their expectation, concerns, and level of involvement. Now, how do we do this? Number 1, we analyze stakeholders' influence and interest using tools like the stakeholders matrix, power slash interest grid help categorize stakeholders. Now, high power, high interests. You have to manage them closely. So, what are high power, high interests? These are those stakeholders, probably your sponsors, high power, which most likely provide the finance and have high interest in whatever you are doing. So they are not only providing the finance, but they are interested in the projects. Probably because they are the innovators. They just contracted you to probably execute it for them or something. Use a structure for a building. Probably the owner of the house has the power because he's providing the funding and has high interest because he has plans to live in that house. Then we have the high power, low interest, which you have to keep satisfied. So these are just basic ones that people probably who external who fund most of the project, but they basically do not have real interest. Probably, let's say, real estate developers, their real interest is probably what later happens, probably the profits they get from selling of the building. So they are not so much involved in the project. So you have to just keep them satisfied. You don't have to probably give them constant updates or stuff like that. You just have to reassure them periodically that, oh yeah, the project is going as it is supposed or as it is designed to go. Then we have the low power, high interest, which you have to keep informed because yes, they have the interest, but no, they don't have the power to finance or support you now. But on the long run, you feel okay, they could come in handy in one way or the other. And we have the low power, low interest, probably end users or people who probably really doesn't have anything to do with the project. So you just have to monitor them probably because you might have need of them. Now this helps prioritize efforts in a project. I'll go to number 2, which is develop customized engagement plan. Each stakeholders category requires a different approach. For instance, high power stakeholders may need regular face-to-face meetings, yes, just like I said, and low interest group may require periodic newsletter, probably once in a while. Now you establish two-way communication, which is most definitely important in every project. Engagement is most effective when it is a dialogue. Yes, one person speaking is not a conversation, neither is a communication. It is just you talking. Now encourage feedback, question, and suggestions. Tools like survey, Q&A, and collaborative platform, e.g., Slack and Microsoft Team can facilitate interaction. Now, address concern promptly. That's number 4. Stakeholders may raise issue or objection. A responsive communication approach helps mitigate conflicts before it escalates. Yes. Now, the stakeholders might have a concern that, oh, why are you going this way? Why are you doing this? This is not part of the plan. What is making you do this? Okay, we said we'll build in 2 weeks. Why is it long getting to 3 weeks? Now, you should always have a ready answer before such questions come. Even if you don't, you have to try and manage it so it does not escalate and make you look like, oh, you don't really know what you're doing. And you should also manage people. Learn how to manage it. Project management is basically managing people. So you manage people so that their behavioral pattern does not rub off on the rest of the stakeholders. Then we have you maintain transparency, being open about challenges, delay, or changes, even when the news isn't positive, build credibility and trust over time. Now, what are the best practices for meeting, report, and updates? Now we start with meetings. Meetings are a key meetings are a key communication tool, but it can be time consuming if not managed well. Following best practice may ensure that they are productive. So what are these best practices? We have number 1, set clear objective. Each meeting should have a defined purpose, whether it is to make decision, solve problem, or share updates. Yes. You distribute an agenda beforehand to ensure everyone know what will be discussed and can prepare accordingly. That's prepare an agenda, yes. Then you invite relevant participants over the years, which is very important. Limit participation to those who have a stake in the topic being discussed. This respects people's time and keep the discussion focused. We have your start and end of time. Always respect people's time. Yes, respecting schedule build a culture of discipline and efficiency. Then you facilitate constructively. Encourage participation, keep discussion on track, and manage dominant or disruptive behavior professionally. Yes. Now, some stakeholders might be funny, might want to act funny, probably because they are sponsoring. So sometimes they want to be controlling and behave funny. That's what I'll use. So you should learn to manage people, manage them, because if you tolerate probably a disrespectful stakeholder in one meeting, it incites the possibility of other stakeholders being disrespectful to you. So you have to make sure you manage and curtail it at the point of inception so that there will not be a repetition of such characteristics. Then, where were we? Yes. Document minutes and action items. Yes, you have to summarize key decision, assign tasks and deadline, distribute meetings minutes promptly to ensure alignment and accountability. Now, reports. Now, report serves as a formal documentation communication tool in the project management. They help in status tracking, decision support, and accountability. We have types of reports. We have the status reports, provide regular updates on project performance in terms of scope, time, schedule adherence, cost, budget tracking, quality, risks and issue, and resource usage. I use visual aid like Gantt charts, dashboard, and traffic light indicator for clarity. We've talked about this before. Then we have the progress reports. These offer narratives on work completed during a specific period, upcoming tasks, and any deviation from the plan, just like the name implies. And we have the exception reports. Yes, these are triggered when project performance deviates from plan, requiring corrective action or escalation to senior stakeholders. And we have the final / closure reports. This summarize the entire project, comparing actual versus planned performance, lesson learned, and recommendation for future projects. Now, updates and informal communication. Now, I'd want to add that informal communication, in as much as it is never advisable in a formal setting, is actually very important because it is useful in everyday communication with stakeholders. You cannot do a meeting every time you want to ask a question, probably because you want to have it documented or something. So there are different kinds of informal communication. So you just have to utilize it to the best of your ability. So we have the daily stand-up scrum meetings, yes. Short daily meetings, usually 15 minutes, where team members share, one, what they did yesterday, what they will do today, any issues or blockers they might have encountered yesterday, or they feel they will encounter today. Now, this is ideal for agile or iterative projects. We've talked about agile projects, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have the digital communication tools like Slack, Microsoft Team, Asana, or Jira streamline quick updates, task assignment, and collaborative communication. I've mentioned most of these tools in our earlier classes. We have the email etiquette. Is it quit or etiquette? Anyways, email etiquette, which, even though it's informal compared to official reports, email should be clear and concise, properly structured with bullet point and headline, directed to the correct recipient, avoid the overuse of reply all, probably in a corporate setting. Then the newsletter and bulletin, monthly newsletter can highlight milestone, celebrate success, and maintain stakeholders' interest in long-term projects. Now, what are the challenges and how do we overcome those challenges? We have one, communication overload. Now, too many messages can overwhelm teams and dilute key information. You send team information now, information by 2, information by 3. So you just keep sending information excessively in a day. So it can overwhelm team and dilute key information. Now you have to use filtering system and prioritize sending critical information at the right time. Then we have the misinterpretation. Yes, this is an issue because of most of our communication has to be formal and written, and and a problem with formal, the problem I always find with formal communication is this, or with written communication rather, it's because it does not convey tonation. In some situation, it does not convey tonation, the urgency of the situation, the seriousness, or something. So, I wrote a lack of tone or context, especially in written communication, yes, can lead to misunderstanding. Use simple language, confirm understanding, and follow up in person when needed. I always advise you do so. You make sure they are always sure, oh, this is what you typed, you were not joking, or stuff like that. Then we have the remote teams and time zone. Yes, say you're doing a mass project that involves you working with probably a Russian, a China, a Chinese, or an American, or probably a Portuguese or so. I wrote here in global project is synchronous communication tool. Share documentation and flexible meeting time helps overcome these challenges. Now, compromises just have to be made. You have to find a time that is not so inconvenient but convenient for everybody. Probably instead of having the meeting in the morning when it's night time, yeah, you schedule it in the evening, probably towards the close of your work and the beginning of their own day work. That way, everybody is part of it and compromises are made. Then we have the cultural and the language barrier. Yes, we use clear jargon-free language and encourage a culture of asking questions. Cross-cultural training and language support can help. Now, we're grateful to God for general language in probably English, French, Chinese, which most people are advised to have basic knowledge about. And thank God for technology, so you could easily interpret every conversation or any typing someone sends to you and stuff like that. Now, in conclusion, effective communication in project management is not an optional skill. It is a critical success factor from setting expectation and aligning stakeholders to managing risks and maintaining team motivation. Communication threads through every aspect of a project, developing robust communication plan, engaging stakeholders meaningfully, and following best practice for meeting and reporting ensures that the projects are executed smoothly and deliver value to all stakeholders. Now, with this, we've come to the end of our communication, topic on communication. So I do hope I've communicated. And if there's any question, you're always free to slide into my DM. So see you next class. I think, yes, that's the end of the slide. And have a wonderful day. Thank you.